Bam. How are you? It is Wednesday, August 3rd, 2022. I am John Shink. I'm your host for this wonderful live stream. And, well, who is John Shink? Well, I am the founder, managing broker, Deerwood Realty here in St. Louis, Missouri. We're a small residential firm. We help sellers sell their homes, help buyers buy theirs. Do a little commercial stuff on the side, depending on our clients and what their preferences are. But yeah, that's who I am. Now, I've knocked that introduction out within 1 minute of the broadcast. I don't even know if it's going to show up. It was so fast. Got a lot of stuff to talk about tonight. I don't know how it's going to go. I'm a little miffed, a little confused, a little befuddled, a little out of sorts. The main topic tonight is going to be about Opendoor and what a trash deal they are, but it's fine. It's fine. That's in real estate. You find slime, pretty much under every rock, and so it's not surprising that Opendoor has been smacked on the wrist. It's not surprising that a Wall Street backed firm, venture capital backed firm, would kind of skirt the edges of legitimacy. That shouldn't be a surprise to anyone, and it shouldn't be a surprise that their goal is to take away market share from any sort of real estate agent, any sort of real estate brokerage, and then just divide the treasures amongst themselves. So I have no interest or no. I have pretty much just disdain for Opendoor. It's the way it is, but we'll get into that. We'll talk about utility companies up in the beginning. I wanted to go over kind of an experience that I had today and just kind of see if that's in line with what you're seeing in this world. I think that there was a time when we could demand more, okay, as citizens. We could expect there to be some level of customer service. We could expect that there would be some level of trust in institutions. All that's gone with me. I'm just amazed at how bad things have gotten. And when the children grow up in this world, in this environment, and they see how bad it is, they're not going to have any onus to want to change it. They will just expect this mediocrity as good. It'll get even worse when they get older. If things don't change, I don't know how they can. Just monstrous corporations have their hands all over the political process, and it's just causing just a mess. But anyway, let's go over what happened today to me. Now, I care about this because my clients oftentimes will have to switch utility companies or get new service at a new location. So they're constantly dealing with, in St. Louis, at least, they're dealing with the water company. If they're not in the city of St. Louis, they're dealing with trash pickup. They're dealing with internet service. That's pretty much replaced the phone service. They're dealing with natural gas, and they're dealing with electricity. This is true on every single house they buy and every single house they sell. And at one point in time, a utility was considered a public utility, and it was there for the public. The idea was that it would be so hard to build infrastructure that only a utility that had oversight by the public would be the best way to service citizens in a community. And so we had these public utilities, and so for that exclusivity, they were given all kinds of special perks. But over time, people figured out that, hey, they make a ton of money, and there's not a whole lot you can do about it. It's not like you can have another provider come in. We've seen this with the phone company. We saw this with energy. You're just not having people sharing lines. So what we do then is instead of having, St. Louis has its own water company. No. Now we have to have a company that is, in 14 other states. And, everyone agrees that this is a great idea, except for when you want customer service. One of the first signs that I knew we were in trouble is when we used to have quarterly bill pay for water. Now it's monthly. And so when they raise the price monthly, you don't really notice, or when they raise the price quarterly, you don't nearly notice it as much as when they raise the price monthly. And so I believe they've consistently raised the bill since they've taken over. And today I got to have one of the bigger benefits of calling into a large multi-state utility. And that is I was on hold for more than a half hour. The whole time, again, I've come to accept this level of service. And so I just leave the phone on speaker and I go about my work and do other things. But this was kind of fun because it kept saying, you can do all these things online. You can do all these things online. Now, I don't know if people are just dumb and like they don't realize that they can do things online, but there's some things you can't do online. And what I needed wasn't going to be able to be done online. And so as I'm being told this every 2 minutes by this automated system, I'm like, look, I know I could do it online. If I could do it online, I would be online. It's the same thing where you used to get from the power company when the power went out. Hey, you should go ahead and get it online and then solve your issue. Well, it turns out, when you don't have any power, you don't have the ability to be on your computer. Back then, now things have changed, but I always thought that was funny. And now I know some people that have had a great amount of success with customer service for utilities when they just basically tweet at the utility. Like there's no way to get through unless you tweet at them. Now, I think that's ridiculous. If you're a public utility, there should be some sort of limit on how long you can be put on hold. It's ridiculous because all they're doing is consolidating the customer service. They're consolidating the accounts management and the accounts payable and receivable. They just get rid of all the people in a local office, okay, and then ship that all those jobs are gone. And then they repay us for making more money and paying a higher dividend by giving us less service. It's ridiculous. And I can remember a long time ago, there was Comcast, like in Philadelphia and that area. Apparently they were just dogs, like just terrible. Like you couldn't get anything. The cable companies were just horrid. I think I don't know that they've been put out of business, but I think most people are moving towards a streaming system. But you get this everywhere. You got your phone service is terrible. You can't get in touch with it. My stepson tried to get an account started for power. He was on hold for more than an hour the other day. It's just garbage. Now, in a normal market, in theory, you should be able to vote with your dollars, and therefore the company could go out of business. They would lose value. But that's not how this works. That's not how utilities work. You can't just turn off your gas. You can't just turn off your electricity. You're stuck with the public utility. And these things have gotten horrible. The customer service is terrible. And what are we going to do about it? Probably nothing. You can't ask the government to get involved because they're terrible as well. They're probably getting paid by the utility companies so they can continue down this stretch of being awful. It's just bad. Here's one of the things, like for everyone that I hope it doesn't offend you, but I believe in nuclear power. I think it's the most green energy there is in the world. Okay, I think that if we had invested in nuclear power in the past 20 years, all these energy concerns that we're having as far as from fossil fuels would be a moot point. But we can't have nuclear for some reason. It's the waste. It's dangerous. All these things. There's solutions for. But we can't move forward. So we have this very strong regulation in the United States. Very hard to build a reactor. Very, very. Just terrible. And I started to wonder, are people against nuclear? Is it the power companies against nuclear? Because they would be able to afford cheap, reliable energy to the population, and therefore would hurt their margins. Is that why it is? Because there were more than, and this is where we had a split. I have the utility company, the electric company, and I don't know, 10 years ago, they started this initiative where they're going to have all kinds of solar panels and wind, but no nuclear. Why is that? Why is that? Why was it okay? And by the way, I don't want you investing in wind. I don't want you investing in solar. I don't want that. That's not going to make my power cheaper. That's not going to make it more reliable. Look at what happened in Texas last year. That was ridiculous. But I have no vote. What am I going to do? Say, either figure out how to do nuclear or I'm dropping you? No, there's no market competition whatsoever. Now, don't kid yourself and think that just because there'd be market competition, things would be better. Do you think air travel is better now or when it was regulated? Do you think truck driving is better now or when it was regulated? I don't know. But I just don't want to fall for this concept of, free markets, like free markets in healthcare. That's ridiculous. Do you see any sort of free market in healthcare now? No, it's all controlled by the insurance companies. And that was all written by the insurance company lobby. I mean, it's just ridiculous. So I don't know. Who can you trust? Not utility companies. What should you expect? I don't know. How do you solve this problem? I don't know. I can remember our sewer in St. Louis, our sewer company. They got a rate increase, okay? And before the rate increase even went into effect, they filed for another rate increase, okay? And so all of a sudden, and then the people are dumb, so they voted for it. So then all of a sudden, before you even got the first rate increase on your bill, now a second one's coming. So you get double whammy. And people are like, oh, this is kind of expensive. It wasn't this expensive a while ago. Well, there you go. You literally let them have two rate increases without the first one having even gone through yet. It's bad. They should do better. Anyway, I don't know. I just think it's ridiculous, and I wanted to share it with you. If you think utility companies are ridiculous, you should put it in the comment section. You should put it in the chat. You're welcome to. We're going to move on to my main topic tonight, and I wanted to go over it with you. Not good. I kind of screwed something up. Okay. So are you familiar with Opendoor? Do you know what Opendoor is? Not good. I know I'm streaming, but anyway. I looked at I normally get a nice email from YouTube that says, hey, you're streaming, you're on, and I didn't get that. But anyway, I know I'm on, so we'll continue. So are you familiar with Opendoor? Opendoor was going to revolutionize the iBuying process. And so what they were going to do is, just like Zillow did a while back, they're going to buy your house, they're going to lightly fix it up, and they're going to turn around for a profit. Okay? They're a house flipper, a glorified house flipper. And what they're going to do is they're going to put a pretty face on what has traditionally been a rather slimy business, and that is buying homes that are terrible from grandma and grandpa, swindling them out of thousands of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars if possible, and then making a killing on the sale of the home after they fix it. Now, Opendoor doesn't necessarily have to fix stuff. They can just basically buy it and then just put it back up for sale, and somebody will buy it, especially in this market. Is the viability going to work out when everything goes to hell in the housing marketplace? I don't know. But imagine my surprise when I see that a Wall Street-backed firm that doesn't consistently make money is just get hit with a massive $62 million fine from the FTC for their trade practices. I'm just pointing this out. I have Deerwood Realty. If I would pull half the garbage that these companies are allowed to get away with, I'd be out of business. But they will not roll. They will not be out of business. In fact, they will do something that was of no surprise to me. But I will share with you later. And I think you'll just laugh. But let's get into it now. There was a FTC ruling, I believe it was yesterday, about our wonderful Opendoor. By the way, Opendoor, not fans of, they don't real estate. Their belief is that real estate agents are stupid. Real estate agents keep deals from happening. Real estate agents aren't needed in this technologically savvy world. They're paid too much. So I have no real desire to be friends with them. I know that when they are in St. Louis, they've done two things that are kind of fascinating. One, they've bought a lot of houses that are terrible, and they've they've added a high premium on those houses. So you'd have to be an idiot to go buy one, for the most part. I mean, they're stuck with some just dog houses. And number two, whenever I want to show one of their houses, they've offshored their showings to India. And so whenever I call to set up a showing, it's just ridiculous. That's not the way it should be. But again, everyone's allowed to come into the real estate space, and they're all going to revolutionize it. And I've been hearing this since the mid 90s that we're going to change real estate. It's going to be so much better. We're really going to change things. And it always ends up being a lot of hype and very, very little substance. But let's get into the first article. This is from the FTC. It says FTC takes action to stop online home buying firm Opendoor Labs Inc. from cheating potential sellers with misleading claims about its home buying service. Well, what do you mean? Are you telling me that someone in real estate is misleading you? No. Wall Street backed firm misleading people? Not possible. Not possible. So let's get into it. It says company will have to pay $62 million and stop deceiving customers about the supposed benefits of its service. Well, that ought to be interesting. How are they going to do that? It says the Federal Trade Commission today, all Opendoor ever did was take Wall Street backing and be the exact same thing as your local investor. That's the only thing they did. They haven't done anything revolutionary. They haven't done anything fascinating. They literally just came in and tried to get rid of any sort of local mom and pop investor. I don't mind that they tried to do that because these investors are terrible people from time to time. Now, there's some great ones, okay? Don't get me wrong. But I'm talking about the house flipper that buys a house with a leaky basement, comes in, doesn't fix the basement, puts in carpet, puts on the disclosure that they've never lived in the house. They don't know what's wrong with it. It looks pretty for a weekend. Buyer buys the house, and now all of a sudden it's leaking still. $20,000 to $40,000 worth of damage, and repairs need to be made to fix the issue. And these guys skate away with, a killing. So it's fine. Full disclosure, I was in the investment game for a while, couldn't stand it, didn't want to steal money from grandmas. And so that's where I'm at right now. Let's get into the article. It says the Federal Trade Commission today took action against online home buying firm Opendoor Labs for cheating potential home sellers by tricking them into thinking that they could make more money selling their home to Opendoor than on the open market using the traditional sales process. And that is one of the keys. If you ever want to know how you win as an investor in real estate, as a house flipper, what you do, you never want that lead, okay? You never want that person to get an estimate or to get a price opinion or to get a home valuation from anyone other than yourself. You want to keep that target so that they have no idea what the real value of their home is. You don't want them to have comps. You don't want, especially if you do want them to have comps, you want them to have the lowest comps you can possibly find. And you're not dealing with a sophisticated seller. And so it's really, really great. Also, that people are generally lazy, that they're normally going to call just one person. And so when they call you, you don't have to compete with anyone. And so you can literally sit there and lie. Now, you have to understand, the lower that they can get the house for, the more profit they can make most of the time. People don't realize that. They think because it's a pretty face and you talk about innovation and technology that all of a sudden that these people should be trusted more than anyone else. It's all marketing. It's all BS. But anyway, let's continue. It says the FTC alleged that Opendoor pitched potential sellers using misleading and deceptive information. And in reality, most people who sold to Opendoor made thousands of dollars less than they would have made selling their homes using the traditional process. Under a proposed administrative order, Opendoor will have to pay $62 million and stop its deceptive tactics. Now, they're not going to stop their deceptive tactics because the only way they can stay in business is if they act this way. It's the only way they can make a profit. Good luck. Opendoor is great. If you have a house that's an absolute dog that no one's ever going to buy, great to sell it to them. Okay, because if you get lucky, they're not paying attention. And you can get out from underneath it. So 100%. But on a regular home, this is ridiculous to go with something like Opendoor. But anyway, let's continue. It says Opendoor promised to revolutionize the real estate market, but built its business using old-fashioned deception about how much consumers could earn from selling their homes on the platform, said Samuel Levine, director of FTC's Bureau of Consumer Protection. There's nothing innovative about cheating consumers. Well, that's exactly right. And let me say this, hoodwinking sellers or hoodwinking buyers in real estate, I mean, that's like old-fashioned as can possibly be. There's nothing revolutionary about Opendoor, not one thing, but people fall for it. It says Opendoor, headquartered in Tempe, Arizona, operates an online real estate business that, among other things, buys homes directly from consumers as an alternative to consumers selling their homes on the open market. Advertised as an iBuyer, Opendoor claimed to use cutting-edge technology to save consumers money by providing market value offers and reducing transaction costs compared with the traditional home sales process. Well, that's all you need to know is that they're going to tell you what the market value of your home is. It's going to be wrong, and you're going to go for it because you don't want to call 14 other agents. You don't want to deal with real estate agents, and I don't blame you. So many real estate agents are ridiculous, just ridiculous. I get why you don't want to work with a real estate agent, and I can understand why you don't trust a real estate agent. There are some slimy people, okay? So I get it. But the fact that they're marketing that they can do all these things because of technology, I mean, I remember doing a show a long time ago about AI in real estate, like AI was going to solve all these problems. They use these terms, they use technology, they use things to hide what they're really up to and to market that there's like somehow innovative. Basically, what they're saying is they're the Jetsons, and I, as a real estate broker, am like the Flintstones. Okay, but it's just not that way. It says Opendoor's marketing materials, including charts comparing their consumers' net proceeds from selling to Opendoor versus on the market. Those charts almost always show that the consumers would make thousands of dollars more by selling it to Opendoor. In fact, the complaint states the vast majority of consumers who sold to Opendoor actually lost thousands of dollars compared with selling on the traditional market because the company's offers have been below market value on average, and its costs have been higher than what the consumers typically pay when using a traditional realtor. Ooh, really? You mean selling to Opendoor isn't free? You mean they charge fees? What, like a traditional realtor? And they go and try and make the house market value less? This is not me saying that. This is the FTC and what they found and what Opendoor has agreed to. I mean, I'm not making this up. It says the agency's investigation found that Opendoor also violated the law by misrepresenting that, one, Opendoor used projected market value prices when making offers to buy homes, when in fact those prices included downward adjustments to the market values. Number two, Opendoor made money from disclosed fees, when in reality it made money by buying low and selling high. That's exactly right. It's a house flipper. It's a glorified house flipper. It always has been, and it's ridiculous. You put the word iBuyer in front of it instead of house flipper, and now everybody goes crazy and says that this is the best thing since sliced bread. It's ridiculous. It says number three, consumers likely would have paid the same amount in repair costs whether they sold their home through Opendoor or in traditional sales, and consumers likely would have paid less in cost by selling to Opendoor than they would pay in traditional sales. So it's just ugh. Underhanded, sneaky. It says the enforcement action says Opendoor has agreed to a proposed order that requires the company to pay $62 million. Now, how much money did they fleece from buyers? Was it $62 million or much more? How are those people made whole? Well, they're not, and they won't be. The order requires Opendoor to pay the commission $62 million, which is expected to be used for consumer redress. Number two, stop deceiving potential home sellers. The order prohibits Opendoor from making the deceptive, false, and unsubstantiated claims that it made to consumers about how much money they will receive or the cost they will have to pay to use its service. Number three, stop making baseless claims. The order requires Opendoor to have a competent and reliable evidence to support any representations made about the costs, savings, or financial benefits associated with using its service, and any claims about the costs associated with traditional home sales. Yeah, I mean, it's breathtaking how much you can get away with when you're a Wall Street-backed firm. It really is. It really is, and it makes me sick, but I've just gotten used to it. I've just gotten used to how I'm just going to check this right here. I hate to do this, but I mean, I need this here, and I don't know why it's not. Why did it not? Like my spam email, my everything's going in my spam folder. It's weird. Okay, let's go back because it's just not there. If I'm broadcasting to no one, then I'm sorry. That's what I'm doing tonight. Then I apologize, but I don't think I am. Let's get back into the article. It says the commission vote to accept the consent agreement was 5-0. The FTC will publish a description of the consent agreement package for the Federal Register soon. The agreement will be subject to public comment for 30 days, after which the commission will decide whether to make the proposed consent order final. Instructions for filing comments appear in the published notice. Once processed, comments will be posted on regulations.gov. It says, note, when the commission issues a consent order on a final basis, it carries the force of law with respect to future actions. Each violation of such order may result in a civil penalty of up to $46,000. Now, look, these companies are huge. They have a tremendous amount of money behind them. $46,000 doesn't mean anything. But so I read this. Okay. Is there any light that we can have? Is there any light that can be shown on this from perhaps another article or something like that? So I went to this one here. This is Real Trends. Okay. And it says, and this is basically, an industry news news source. So it says FTC fines Opendoor $62 million for deceptive practices. The FTC alleges that Opendoor told consumers they could make more money selling to the iBuyer than on the traditional open market. And it's very weird. Like, how do you define that what they said was a fact? You could make more money selling to could you net more money? I mean, because let's just say, I'm just going to do the math in my head. Let's just say there's a $200,000 house, and that's the value of the home. And you sell to Opendoor, and they'll buy it for $160,000. Okay, but the house is worth $200,000. If you pay commissions on that, you're looking at think around maybe between $10,000 and $15,000. You definitely make more money not going with Opendoor. You definitely make more money. Now you may say, well, John, I don't want to fix up the house. I don't want to stage the house. I don't want to be inconvenienced by potential buyers walking through. But is that worth what, $25,000, $30,000? I don't think it is. So, I've never had someone come to me and say, John, I'm either going to use you or an iBuyer. I believe that most of the iBuying marketing is very, very sophisticated. They got Facebook, they've got, AdWords, things of that nature. I've seen the ads for Opendoor. They have television. They have the ability to really mass market themselves in a way that most local brokerages couldn't. And so they're finding people that don't have previous relationships with an agent anyway. So, I can see how this would be a serious problem. Now, do you think that a company that's made its money by literally fleecing consumers, do you think that they're going to be able to not do that in the future? And I just don't think they are. I think that it's always going to be that way. I think it's always going to be. And by the way, if not Opendoor, it would have been Zillow. If not Zillow, it's what, the other one? I don't even remember what it's called. Redfin's got one. To me, Redfin's an interesting one because they operate as a brokerage, but they're going to give you an offer now. Whose interest are you going with on that? Let's say you call an agent from Redfin. I'm not saying that Redfin does this, but I'm saying you call an agent from Redfin. You're like, I would like an instant offer. And they come back with you and they say, well, the house is worth, let's just stay at the 200. Let's say that the house is worth 200. That's what it should be listed for. But the Redfin agent says, oh, you want an instant offer? Okay, we'll give you $160,000 for this house right now. Okay. Well, you know what? I'd rather just sell it traditionally. Okay, well, now the house is worth 200. Well, what happened? How do you trust that company when they have differing agendas, differing motivations to their bottom line? How do you trust those people? Just in general, I'm just asking. I don't know the answer. Anyway, let's continue. It says the FTC alleges that the Eric Wu-led iBuyer pitched its services to potential home sellers by using misleading and deceptive information that led sellers to believe that they could make more money selling their home to Opendoor than on the open market using the traditional home sale process. In reality, according to the FTC, most people who sold to Opendoor made thousands of dollars less than they would have made selling their homes using the traditional process. Here's the quote again. Opendoor promised to revolutionize the real estate market, but built its business using old-fashioned deception about how much consumers could earn from selling their homes on the platform. There's nothing innovative about cheating consumers. Now, let me ask you this. Let's say that you, like Opendoor, remember, it's like, I don't know if you remember Dee Snider from Twisted Sister, but he always talked about how everything changed overnight when like somebody like John Bon Jovi, a pretty face smiling, changed the music, basically changed the edge, changed the image. And in similar ways, you know, you look at a home flipper, a local home flipper, shady character for sure. But then you look at Opendoor and their smiling faces and their beautiful marketing and they're helping everyone. You just get sucked into it. You just get sucked into it. So, I mean, I can understand this, but what I learned in my time as a real estate investor is that, you know, when you fleece someone, they're often embarrassed, and they keep it to themselves. So for the FTC to come down hard, not hard enough in my opinion, but for the FTC to come down on Opendoor, I mean, for all the dislike and disdain I have for the government, for them to come in and actually make an investigation, and what was quite obvious, I mean, this was going to happen with any iBuyer. The fact that they called Opendoor out on it, I do appreciate. It says, in its investigation of Opendoor, the FTC took issue with Opendoor's marketing material, which included charts comparing consumers' net proceeds from selling to Opendoor versus the open market. It said the FTC said charts almost always showed that consumers would make thousands of dollars more by selling to Opendoor. In many states, the FTC found that the consumers who sold to Opendoor lost thousands of dollars, as the company's offers have been below market value on average, and its costs have been higher than what consumers typically pay when using a realtor. And that's the bottom line. It's not enough that they tried to fleece them on the market value of their home. Then they hit them with the fees that were higher than a traditional agent. Oh. But you know, these people that are victims, they're not going to step up. They're going to hide in shame. It's a bad deal. It's a bad deal. It says, through its investigation, the agency also found that an Opendoor. Now, by the way, understand that the National Association of Realtors is being sued every which way about our commissions practices, which I don't feel like I'm an expert in at all. But I'm just telling you, everyone's coming for realtors, and they're coming all the time from every single direction. So the fact that Opendoor basically, got caught doesn't mean that there's 10 other people that aren't, 10 other corporations aren't coming after realtors every day of the week. It says, through its investigation, the agency also found that Opendoor violated the law by misrepresenting how the firm calculated the home's market value, how Opendoor made money, how much consumers likely would have paid in home repair costs when selling on the open market, and how much consumers would have paid in cost by selling in a traditional sale. I mean, that's the easiest thing in the world to do. You call someone and they come out and they say, hey, man, like again, with the $200,000, your house is worth $160,000. And you're like, okay, well, where do I sign? Oh, we're going to make it easy for you. You just sign right here and you don't have to worry about it. Making things easy for you doesn't necessarily mean it's going to go well for you. That's one of the things I've never understood. And why people don't get that, I just don't understand. It says, in addition to the $62 million fine, which is expected to be used for consumer redress, not enough. The proposed consent order also stated that Opendoor must stop making deceptive, false, and unsubstantiated claims about how much money consumers will receive or the costs they will incur using its services, and it must provide competent and reliable evidence to support any representations made about the cost savings or financial benefits associated with using its services, any claims about the costs associated with traditional home sales. That's going to be hard. I mean, they can make a TikTok, I suppose, okay, a TikTok video like I can. But I mean, in general, they've got a real problem because how they make their money, okay, is buying below what the market would pay and then charging ridiculous fees on the seller. That is the model. So it's going to be kind of hard to figure out how this is going to fly. But I digress. Let's continue to get on. It says, there was an Opendoor made a statement. So it says, while we strongly would disagree with the FTC's allegations, even though they accepted it, our decision to settle with the commission will allow us to resolve the matter and focus on helping consumers buy, sell, and move with simplicity, certainty, and speed. Importantly, the allegations raised by the FTC are related to activity that occurred between 2017 and 19 and target marketing messages the company modified years ago. We're pleased to put this matter behind us and look forward to continuing to provide consumers with a modern real estate experience. And that modern real estate experience is getting fleeced. Congratulations. It's the same real estate experiences that you'll get if you choose a bad real estate agent. Anyway, that was that article. Now there's one final article I thought this is Insider, I believe Business Insider, and I don't know how it's going to read. I haven't really looked at it. I'm along with you. I'm doing my business. I'm trying to market my company. Okay. I'm trying to answer buyers and sellers questions. Okay. And in my email, all of a sudden I see this Opendoor hit with a $62 million fine. Well, what's that about? I don't know. So I looked into it, and this is how I do it. Now, are these articles the number, like, are they perfect sources or is there fake news? I don't know. I just wanted to go over it, but it says, this is Eric Wu. He's the guy that's in charge of building a business that basically pays people less for their homes. And then according to the FTC, and then charges them so many fees that they actually are in a much worse spot than if they used a traditional real estate agent. That's according to FTC. That's not according to me. It says, there's the bullet points. I don't really need bullet points. Let's just get into it. It says the Federal Trade Commission is fining home buying company Opendoor $62 million for cheating home sellers. Now, look, that is not good marketing. They're going to have to pay at least, $50-60 million to try and overcome this bad marketing. It says, in a settlement announced on Monday, the FTC said Opendoor told customers that they could make more money selling their homes to the company than by selling homes traditionally. The FTC found that, in fact, most people who sold their homes to Opendoor made less money than they would have selling to regular buyers via real estate agent. Now, this is bad. This is a bad thing. This is not good. Like, don't kid yourself. This was very, very slimy. It says Opendoor, which bought 36,908 homes in 2021, is an instant buyer or iBuyer, which buys homes directly from owners and then resells them, sometimes making small renovations to home. I've seen some of the homes that they did in St. Louis. They did not renovate them. Okay. Some of them, there was renovations, but I mean, some of them that were losers, they were just like, we're not doing anything. They will virtually stage it. Anyway, the company is able to close on homes much more quickly than traditional buyers purchasing via real estate. That's not true. My title company and I can close something in 7 days. Opendoor can't beat that. They can do probably about the same. Opendoor, which reported $28 million in net income in the first quarter of 2022, makes money by charging its own fee in the place of a traditional real estate broker's fee. Well, there you go. I mean, really. But by the way, they don't make money by just charging their own fee. They're also making money by buying the property for a lower value than market and then selling it for a higher than market. Because that's the other part of it. You know, you see a house listed with Opendoor, you can automatically assume it's $10,000 to $20,000 higher in price. Let's just say on a $250,000 home. As an agent, we know what prices are. I mean, what things are going to go for. It's not, I mean, that's our job. And so when you see a house and you're like, man, that seems pretty expensive. And then you go down and you see it's listed by Opendoor, you're like, oh, I wonder what agent is going to tell their buyer that this is a good idea. The FTC detailed why Opendoor's marketing materials were deceptive in a 14-page report that included screenshots of Facebook ads and website charts of costs shown to customers. The FTC said this evidence seemed to promise consumers they would make more money by selling to Opendoor because all fees were bundled together in one amount. In reality, they often paid more than what they would have had selling their homes via a real estate agent. The agency also challenged the company's claim that it purchased homes at market prices and said that the company's offers are on average below market value. This is from the FTC investigation. I mean, What more do you need to know that this is a bad idea? Now, this company is going to continue to operate. They're backed by Wall Street. They can do whatever they want to. But this is terrible. It says, I'm going to skip this one. It says, because it's the same quote from the same guy from the same article. Okay. There's nothing innovative about cheating consumers. That should be the Opendoor tagline from now on. The proposed order includes $62 million fine, which the agency expects to pay back Opendoor customers who the company bilked. The FTC also ordered the company to cease any deceptive practices against potential home sellers and to stop making baseless claims. Opendoor issued its own statement Monday, noting that the company leaders were strongly disagree with the allegations, but we're settling with the commission anyway. I mean, what are they supposed to say? We really think we did. You know what? We really fleeced the hell out of those homeowners, and we don't really care. And we thought it was funny, and we made a lot of money off of it. So we're going to keep doing it. You're not going to do that. What do you expect them to say? It says it also said the FTC's allegations were specifically related to homes Opendoor purchased between 2017 and 2019, because they never purchase houses below market value now. No, that wouldn't be. It says Opendoor, which Eric Wu founded in 2014, went public in 2020 after raising $1.5 billion from investors. In a 2020 SEC filing, the company disclosed that the FTC was investigating its marketing practices. Let me tell you something: $62 million on a $1.5 billion raised to run the company. I mean, somebody's walking away with hundreds of millions of dollars at the end of this, and it's not going to be the consumers that were bilked. That's a fact. But it's not enough. This was August 1st. August 2nd, Opendoor comes out and says, look, we've got a new product. We're so good at helping you sell your house for less than what it's worth. We're going to help you now buy a home for more than it's worth. Isn't that great? Here we go. Let's go over this one here. This is from Opendoor. It says introducing an Opendoor exclusive, home buying at the tap of a button. Okay, so what is this going to be? Let me just tell you what this is going to be. They're going to have pocket listings, okay, that aren't available on the MLS anywhere. So you won't be able to see them on your MLS, only on Opendoor, okay? And these are houses that Opendoor either owns, so there's going to be a conflict of interest there, or, well, I mean, it's going to be that they own, I suspect. I mean, it wouldn't make any sense to do it otherwise. So now they're going to have pocket listings and say, look, we own this house. You can put a bid on it, and you might get the house because we're going to clearly mark the price. Now, when you do your, they do have this weird thing with the appraisal. We'll get through it in this article, but I think this is hilarious. I think that, by the way, if you think that an appraisal, let me just tell you about appraisals. Let me just tell you to start up front. Most people think that if somebody comes and appraises a property, that's the price of the property, that's an accurate representation of what the price is of a property. Well, let me tell you something. Out in St. Louis, Missouri, we have a house where there was, it was in the city. It was a part of an estate, and our buyers wanted to buy it. The sellers got an appraisal. We got an appraisal. The appraisal was $30,000 difference between the two appraisers. So do you want to tell me about how accurate appraisals are? Give me that. Don't give me that. But anyway, let's continue. It says, few things compared to the feeling of walking into a home for sale and deciding you want to make it your own. It can be an emotional experience filled with anticipation and optimism. Absolutely. You can imagine yourself there for years to come. Backyard barbecues, firstborns, first dates. This is how home buying should feel. And if you fall in love with a home, you should be able to make it yours without any stress, complexity, and hassle. Now, have you ever, I mean, having been in real estate, having seen all the things I've seen, I would never, ever, 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 ever try to buy a house without an agent. I mean, that would be the worst idea ever. Now you say, John, you're biased. No, I'm not. I'm literally telling you, I personally would never not buy a house with a buyer's agent. I think that is a recipe for absolute disaster. Now, can I couch it and say a good buyer's agent? Yes, because there aren't always good buyer's agents. But you find a good buyer's agent, you're going to get a good property, and you're going to get it at the right price, and it's going to work out great. You bring on the wrong buyer's agent, or you go into this unrepresented, you're in for a world of shit. There, I said it. When buyer Amanda M., an Opendoor customer, was ready to purchase a new home in Humble, Texas. Oh, isn't that cute? Humble, Texas. She didn't get those warm feelings while looking at houses. Instead, she faced what most American home buyers do today: uncertainty, hassle, and lack of control over the process. So now the buyer wants to be dominant over the seller. And the seller might want to push back. What's wrong with that? It says, these are the pain points we have set out to solve since we founded Opendoor. No, you haven't. You founded Opendoor as an iBuyer. You didn't have any inkling to do this before. First for home sellers and now for home buyers. We see a future where people can buy and sell homes at the tap of a button to make it as easy as hailing a ride or buying a plane ticket. Good luck with that. Good luck with that. If you really think that's going to fly, you've not been in the real estate market very long. Today, we're launching Opendoor exclusive, a first of its kind one-tap buying experience for home buyers. First of all, this is not unusual. This is not new. This is not a new, I mean, it's maybe new to Opendoor, but you've been able to buy homes that have a set price online in the past. That's not new. It says, with Opendoor exclusive, we are making home buying an e-commerce-like experience in order to streamline an existing process that creates far too much friction and costs and make home ownership more accessible. There's a reason why there's friction in the home buying marketplace. It's because that's how you get the best deal for the buyer and the seller. But anyway, it says now available in Austin, Houston, and Dallas, Fort Worth. Opendoor exclusive. Why not Arizona, where they're headquartered? Anyway, Opendoor Exclusives is a home shopping marketplace that lets buyers go instantly into contract at a no haggle price when they find a home they love. No bidding wars, no hassles, no uncertainty. This is an absolute disaster waiting to happen. It's kind of like the Carvana of home buying. Our experience with Opendoor Exclusives could not have been better. Well, how would you know? I mean, like, how would you know? It's ridiculous. I mean, sure, if you're the only person that pays more for a house than anyone else and you don't even know it, I mean, seriously, home prices and interest rates were climbing and we couldn't keep up. After getting word that we'd been passed over on another home that we'd fallen in love with, and our two backup homes were now off the market, I decided to open the email from Opendoor Exclusive to see what it was all about. I felt like I was shopping for a home on Amazon. It was great. It was ours, and we didn't have to compete with anyone. You competed with a lot of people. You just didn't know it. With Opendoor Exclusives, home buyers can pay with peace of mind. Our homes are available on the Opendoor Exclusive for 14 days before we list them on the MLS. So we have clear cooperation where if we list a home for someone else, we have to have it in the MLS within 2 days. This keeps that from happening. And they can do it because they own the homes. They're not being represented by anyone. They're just representing their own homes. It says, while this is on exclusive, they're offered at a price that's less than what we'll list the home for. Just because you list a house for less than what you will list it for in the future doesn't mean it's a good deal. Let's just do another example. Let's say a house is worth $200,000. Okay. The actual value of the home. And Opendoor comes in at $220,000 when they're past the 14 days, and they're going to sell it to you for $210,000 in the 14 days. Doesn't make any difference to you. You need to be at 200 because that's what the value of the home is. It says, should you buy an Opendoor exclusive home that appraises for less than the purchase price? Less than the purchase price. Let's get over this. Buy an Opendoor exclusive home that appraises for less. First of all, who is the appraiser? Okay. And then it says, we'll reduce the price up to $50,000 to match the appraised value under our appraisal price match guarantee. This gives you more confidence that you aren't overpaying for a home. Who's choosing the appraiser? Okay. And what market are we in? Because when there's hot markets, things tend to appraise. And when the market is cold, things tend to not appraise. It says, avoid bidding wars and price negotiations. Oh, God forbid you'd have to negotiate something. It says, our exclusive price means no haggling, no lack of transparency, and no more love letters to sellers. With Opendoor exclusive, you're in control. Find a home you love, be the first to sign the contract, and you can make it yours. It's that simple. All right, well, so what happens when 4 people want to buy the same house? They're still going to just sell it for that one price. How are they going to choose who to pick between the 4 people that want to buy the house? Back out anytime and get a full refund on your earnest money deposit. Great. Experience a fully digitalized checkout. We've digitized the checkout flow, making a home purchase as simple as any other e-commerce transaction. Great. You won't even know the situation you're in until it's way too late. Congratulations. Between rising interest rates and low housing stock, it's a challenging time to buy a home. You know, why is the housing stock low? Maybe it's because people like iBuyers have been buying houses left and right without really any real need to sell them. Ask first-time homebuyers who struggle the most during bidding wars and negotiations to win their dream homes. In May, first-time buyers accounted for 27% of existing home purchases, nearly 15% below average. Well, why is that? Is it perhaps because home affordability has gone through the roof, that not many people can afford to buy a home, and especially not first-time homebuyers? I mean, maybe you created this problem. In a competitive environment with high mortgage rates, aspiring homeowners feel frustrated, anxious, and defeated after losing out on bids. We built Opendoor exclusives to make home buying more certain and hassle-free. Man, dangerous. To explore and shop for Opendoor on homes, you can visit the Opendoor exclusive site, tour any home displaying the self-tour instantly button, and complete a short verification process. Oh, we can do it without agents. Great. Let's get rid of those suckers. If you want to proceed with the purchase, it's as simple as clicking the buy button. You'll then sign a contract. Oh, wait a minute. Now we're signing a contract. It's not as easy as just paying the buy button. Submit an earnest money deposit, schedule inspections, and finalize lender details, including the appraisal. So it's a traditional deal, 100%, but you're going to have a few steps online. With Opendoor exclusives, we're empowering home buyers and reimagining the antiquated process, yes, of finding the home you love. It's so antiquated to go out there and look at houses and win. It's so antiquated. Oh, look at those unsophisticated people trying to get the most for their money. Oh, they're terrible. Let's do it this way. I don't know. I want to go over here. I think we're just going to talk about this today, and that's going to be it. So here we go. Dearwood Realty. If you called me, say, hey, John, can you beat Opendoor's sale price? I don't know. What is their sale price? What do they say that your home is worth? Here's what the comps are that I see, but you're going to charge me fees. Yes, that's the other thing. Real estate agents, all of you, it's not wrong to earn a commission on a property, okay? It's not wrong to charge a fee to help someone buy a property. I just want you to understand that, like, I spend money as a real estate agent. I lose money as a real estate agent at times. Okay. It's not like free. I have to pay my own health insurance. I have to pay all kinds of marketing. I have to pay, and that's just money going out, rents, utilities, things of this nature. So it's not as easy as just, I don't know. All my time is spent driving around, helping buyers and sellers, showing property, setting appointments, things of this nature. It's not free. So I don't feel guilty about charging a fee. I really don't. And why is it okay for Opendoor to charge a fee, but not me? I'm just asking. It's a rhetorical question. You should put it in the comment section below, because nobody's on my stream tonight. There's nobody here. It's just me. So anyway, so here it is. I just want to go over the 30-year fix. It raised 20 basis points overnight. It was down like in the fives, like low fives, and now we're at 5.5%. I've always said, if we could stay at 5.5%, we could have moderation in the marketplace. I don't think it's going to stay at 5.5%. That's the problem. That's what I'm worried about. But yeah, that's where I'm at. What do you think? I mean, I'm coming kind of towards the end of the show. What do you guys think about Opendoor? What do you think about it? I'm going to even go back here. I don't feel like anything in life is guaranteed, okay? And certainly in this case, I don't feel like every single time you use Opendoor, you're going to get fleeced. I don't believe that. But I think you should have some understanding. I got to get a drink. I'm going to cough. Probably going to cough anyway. I think it's reasonable to expect some level of competence when you're looking for a real estate agent. And if you find one that is competent, then you should be in good shape when you're buying or selling a house. Now, this is my biased opinion as a real estate broker. This idea, though, that there's all this technology and it's gonna solve all these problems, it's marketing. It's marketing, and it works. It sounds good. If I could say Dearwood Realty, the first AI-powered brokerage in the United States, People would literally be so excited about that. Now, what does that mean? I don't know. I mean, what are you going to use for AI in real estate? Like someone's going to call me. We're going to go look at a house. It looks nice in the pictures, and we go see it. And then we test that house against every other home in the marketplace. Does it seem like a good deal? Are there hidden repair issues? I mean, those things are things that are just basic. When you're selling your home, in this market, you price it too low, I guarantee you somebody will bid it up to where it's too high. So what are you worried about there? I mean, you can come in with a terrible strategy. Like I was talking about this one house in the neighborhood where one of my buyers was successful with another offer. They came to market $50,000 more than a house that we looked at, and it wasn't as nice of a house. That house will sit, and it will sit because no one's going to buy that because they're not. I mean, most agents are looking out for their buyers, and no one's going to say that's a good idea. So anyway, I don't want to just keep. I don't want to. I don't want to, how do I put this? I don't want to just hold on for, I don't want to just hold it off for a year. I don't want to hold off to 60 minutes when I'm getting tired. I'm getting blown up on my phone here. I need to go head out and do some other real estate business. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed the live stream. If you're watching this as a replay, would you please consider subscribing, liking, hit the notification bell. I never hit the notification bell, but you know what? I know I'm doing a good live stream. I know I've got a good product. I just know that people don't know that it exists. So help me out with that. Subscriptions, watch it, tell your friends, tell your family. I want to be there for you. I want to be a resource for you for understanding the real estate game from a pretty decent, pretty high level, actually, and not get fleeced. That would be my goal. If I could help anybody not get fleeced in the real estate market, that would make me a very happy man. With that, I'm going to head on out. Thank you for watching. If you're on the podcast version, thank you for listening. I will catch you later.